Even men at the top of their game find themselves wanting more from life. Whether it's more meaning, unshakable confidence, a bigger impact, more money, deeper love, a hotter sex life, or a powerful legacy. Find out how good your life can be on this episode of Man Alive. Also, as I've supported men in their love and work lives for 15 years now, many men ask for the right words to say to be more successful, attractive, and desirable. But I found it's not so simple as giving scripts or lines because every man is different. So giving words or scripts would be like giving a tall, thin man a shorter, wider man's pants, or vice versa. The words have to make sense for you and your personality, and there's so much happening beneath the surface that people are responding to. If you're interested in how to become a better lover and leader in your own unique way, go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz, or you can text ALIVE to 44144. It only takes a couple minutes and you'll start to get an idea of how you can be both more respected and desired. After you fill it out, we can schedule a time to review your quiz and talk about your specific challenges and desires. So again, go to either shanajamescoaching.com/quiz or text ALIVE to 44144. That's ALIVE to 44144. Enjoy this episode of Man Alive. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Man Alive. I'm excited to be here today with Marv Fox Jr. Marv, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for much. Oh, I'm already getting nervous. Thank you so much for having me here.
You're so welcome. It's so great to have you here. We are going to talk today about purpose and the benefits of living a life on purpose and whether you can actually live a life on purpose. I know for some people, it feels more like a dream. Other people are, very committed to a life of purpose. So we're going to talk about what happens when you find purpose and what happens when you're missing purpose in your life. So Marv's purpose is actually to help you discover your purpose. And he runs his own business, Speak on Purpose, which offers purpose recognition coaching and speaking services and leadership experiences. And Marv has led this work for companies and educational institutions such as Bosch, AT&T, University of Michigan, School of Nursing and School of Dentistry, the Grand Valley State, among others. And really his goal is to inspire success, confidence, and inner joy through purpose-centered living. So Marv, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Can we start out by you saying a little bit about what is purpose to you, or what is living a life of purpose to you?
So it's really simple. The equation for purpose, as it relates, this is my opinion, but the equation for purpose is genius level talent plus passion equals purpose. So genius level talent is some natural ability that is capable of being converted into a genius level skill. Now, the key word is capable because not all skills that we possess are genius level compatible.
Right. Like as I hear that, I'm like, I don't even know if I have any genius level, or I don't know if I'd consider myself genius level, but then that's just subjective, right?
Sure. We are all geniuses, and we have had a host of experiences and moments and emotions that are working really, really hard to make us aware of where we are special. And so there's skills that we work really hard to expand, and those skills oftentimes only raise our floor, right? But then we have some skills, and it's not a lot of them, but we have some skills that we possess that if we were to invest time in them, if we were able to, really learn them and master them, they could raise our ceiling, right? And that's where our genius exists. So there's 3 qualifiers. I won't get into it now, but our goal was to figure out what skill do we possess, what ability is genius level compatible, right? And so there's a genius level talent piece, and then there's this passion piece. And I define passion through a question. And that question is, what's the one thing that you would do for the rest of your life to benefit all of humanity, regardless of compensation?
Wow.
So you have to love doing it, but it has to help other people. Because I'm pretty sure I talk to people all the time, college kids, high school kids, adults, and I ask them, what's your passion? And if I just said, what do you love to do? And I just stopped talking, I'm pretty sure we get some very individual, independent, self-serving
Totally, like golf or video
Yeah.
games or
Yeah. Or getting high. Who knows?
yeah.
But what you do when it comes to purpose, what you do has to benefit the collective. And then you have
Uh,
to love it so much that you would do it for free.
mm,
So if we're talking about purpose, to keep it even more, to make it even more simplistic,
yeah.
what are you really good at? And then what do you love to do? And if you just got to
Uh-huh.
find a way to merge those two things, and then before you know it, you'll be operating within your purpose. And I mean, it's to operate within your purpose. I mean, it has so many benefits to, one's life.
Yeah, what do you see? What do you see as the benefits?
Well, I know you talk a lot about wellness and
Yeah.
how to be, how to experience high vitality.
Yep.
So people who are struggling with fear, anxiety, stress, insecurities, a lack of self-loving, feeling. I mean, there's a whole host of,
Uh-huh.
negative, emotions and negative traits that a person can exude simply because they're not operating within their purpose, right? So
So you see a lot of those things actually, you would say a lot of those things happen because of not being on purpose.
100%.
Yeah.
So like if you get up every day and you don't feel like what you do is purposeful, useful,
Yeah.
if it's helping someone, if you're not being fulfilled in some shape, form, or fashion, there's a good chance that maybe you might some of your aches and pains,
Yeah.
whether they be internal or external, might be because you're not living a purposeful life.
Yes.
So I had this conversation I had yesterday. I'll talk about it from a physical standpoint, but I truly believe that people who operate within their purpose, they experience better health.
Uh-huh.
And so if I have a purpose and my purpose is to serve the collective in some shape, form, or fashion,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and this is what I've experienced.
Yeah.
My immune system is strong.
Yeah.
My ability to get over sickness is strong, right? Because I can't be down for
Right.
too
We have the
long.
motivation and there's life energy moving through us, but also, yeah, you can't stay down because there's something you're here for.
Yeah, there's too many people that I'm supposed to be servicing. So I can't be down. Now, you talk to us about somebody who doesn't contribute to anybody, somebody who doesn't feel that they contribute to anybody, somebody who doesn't do meaningful work. Well, I feel like some of those are the people that might experience, aches and pains and physically and also intrinsically, and because they don't get up every day with a sense of purpose. I mean, there's a therapy for people who abuse, substance abusers.
Yeah.
That I think they go on farms and they take care of farm animals.
Mm.
And the reason why the farm caring for these farm animals is so therapeutic and so redemptive and helps restore these people to health, because they get up every day feeling connected to the work they have to do with taking care of this animal. They know if they don't get up, this animal doesn't eat. It may die, it may suffer. So now
they're tied to another being's
100%,
well-being and survival.
100%. And look, that may not be their purpose. Their purpose is not to be a farmer, right? But simply by getting up with a sense of purpose, one's life can change dramatically. Insecurities and uncertainty about yourself and all that stuff. If I'm operating within my genius and I feel smart every day because I'm doing the one thing that I'm good at, and I'm helping people, that's a great foundation to be healthy, both, inside and on the outside.
Emotionally, mentally, physically. Yeah. It reminds me of Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And that similarity between, a life of purpose or a life that feels meaningful. And I think sometimes we can go to therapy and look at the emotional, or the self-critic or the kind of what shows up in the moments of how we're living. But that larger context of purpose, I think, doesn't always get caught or seen in that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's complicated. Purpose is complicated. And just because it is so complicated, it could go over a lot of people's heads. And sometimes it's not only complicated, but it's daunting. It's challenging, to the idea that I'm going to lean into this purpose, and then you figure out what your purpose is. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to do this.
Right. Well, and I got to take care of my family and money and,
Oh yeah.
survival needs. And so how do you walk somebody from that place of, I don't know if this is for me, or if I have the bandwidth or the
Mhm.
resources for this, to, yes, actually, we could all have some of this.
Well, one of the things that I do is, before we even get to purpose, I have a process, and the process is called the flight process. And and flight is l- achieving the clarity, or finding the clarity to live the purpose-centered life with the perspective that all things are necessary toward fulfillment. So there's three parts that
Okay,
are.
wait, can you say that again?
So flight is finding the clarity
Yeah.
to live the purpose-centered life with the perspective that all things are necessary toward fulfillment.
Hmm.
So there's three important parts. There's clarity, there's purpose, there's perspective. So before we even get to purpose,
Mm-hmm.
we have to achieve clarity. Clarity of the spirit, clarity of the heart, clarity of the mind.
Hmm.
The spirit feels, the heart loves, and the mind thinks, and the body performs, right?
Hmm.
So before we can even get to your purpose in life, right? So you're talking about the person who's 20 something, 30 something, 40 years, whatever. They have children, they got bills, they got
Yeah.
jobs, all that other
Yeah.
stuff, right? But they feel like their life is, they feel like they're supposed to be doing something more meaningful, right?
Yes.
And what they feel that they've been led to do is causing them some stress, because they're like, I don't know if I have the time or the resources to do this, right? So
Exactly.
how I attack it is, we have to achieve clarity first. The equation for clarity is quiet time and peace of mind.
Mm.
Okay, quiet time and peace of mind. So simply find some time to have some quiet time, right? Really enjoy yourself. The only way
Right.
you can
Without
really enjoy
that,
yourself,
clarity is
it's impossible.
non-existent.
Yeah,
Impossible.
it's impossible. So you got to have some quiet time, and you got to really enjoy yourself. And you do that by getting rid of all the noise for as much as
Just
possible.
throw the kids away. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it might be your commute is 20 minutes, maybe 2 minutes of your commute, absolute silence.
Yeah.
Something simple as that. But
Right. Not ingesting news or information, just in that
yeah,
quiet space.
because all you're doing is distracting yourself with everything else, right? So there's a conversation going on the inside. You make yourself aware of this conversation. Now you might be aware of some of the things that you've done to people, right? Or some of the things that people have done to you, right? Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but you make yourself aware of kind of your past and also your current situation. And now once you do that, you have to achieve peace of mind. Now, peace of mind is simply making peace or making friends with your emotions, right? So there's some emotion that you might have, or some sort of bad trait. Let's say it's jealousy.
Yeah.
So you make yourself aware of this jealousy trait that you have. And so what you want to do is you want to make friends with your emotions. And how you do that is you say, jealousy, where'd you come from? And now jealousy might say, you know where I came from. Remember when you were 7 years old and we used to listen to your parents talk about their friends? They every time they had a friend who was thriving, who was doing well, they always talked bad about them.
Yeah.
And you learned that behavior. You learned how to be jealous. And so now here you are, 25, 35, 45 years old. And every time somebody's doing well, you're triggered in a negative way.
Yeah.
Right. So now, once I'm able to identify what, this jealousy thing that I got going on, once I'm able to identify
keeps
it,
you from peace of mind.
yeah, but now I can make friends with it. I make friends with it, and I've realized, wait a minute, I'm at peace now, because I realize that's not who I am. That's a trait that I learned from people that I really love.
Yeah.
And when you're around people that you really love, you're easily influenced by those people.
Yes.
And so now, once I can identify what's been holding me back, I can make some adjustmts. And now I have clarity in my life. Now I've taken all those bad traits, those insecurities, all those bad things that have been holding me back, that keeping me, keeping me in bondage. I can now slowly but surely understand where all those bad traits came from, make some adjustments. And now I am prepared to explore my genius and my passion. So to go back to your original question, how do I take somebody who's living a life that's already kind of chaotic?
Yep.
I help them understand that everything in your life is actually working in your favor. Everything in your life has been trying to get your attention. So life is doing one of two things. Life is either trying to make you aware of your purpose,
yeah,
or strengthen you within your purpose.
Beautiful.
So once you operate within your purpose, you may say, I don't have the resources. Don't worry about that. Soon as you start operating within your purpose, you will be amazed at how many resources will make themselves available to you. Then also you have to think about this. Here I am thinking, well, how am I going to do this? I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. It's fine. You're a genius. You're a genius. You understand something on a high level. You may not understand the entire process, but you understand some part of this process on a high level because you're a genius, because your whole life has been building you from an intellectual level to handle all these situations, all these problems, all these nuance, or so on and so forth.
I love the confidence you have in this. And I'm seeing that, part of coaching, I think, is holding the belief in someone and reflecting that back. If they're not believing in themselves, right, they get to lean on someone else a little bit as they're developing that.
Yeah.
And I can feel your confidence in this process. And it's really, I can feel your clarity. It's really amazing.
Well, I'm living it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every day I'm living it. And living it doesn't mean I live in some huge mansion. I don't take a helicopter, to work or to my speaking events or anything like that. So I'm not living some lavish life or anything like that. But I am rich enough that this purpose-centered life has put me in position to have the flexibility and the resources and the time to invest in other people. And I feel like if you're rich, then you should give. You should invest in other people. So I'm living something that I'm talking about something that I live every single day. And I know that it works. And I think every time you talk to people who are truly confident and have a strong sense of inner joy, it's the same. I do what I love every day. And I do what I'm good at every day. And I use that to help everybody else. And it seems to be a consistent theme.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Can you talk a little bit about the 5 ways you work with purpose, or the 5 kind of realms that purpose shows up in for you?
Yeah. So when I get a chance to speak to, whoever is paying for my services or whatever, there's 5 lanes. There's spirituality, wellness, leadership, performance, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And what I'm always working on is how does the purpose-centered life, or how does purpose connect to those 5 concepts? And so again, performance, wellness, spirituality, leadership, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. So when I'm going to talk to somebody, I might be talking to somebody about diversity, equity, and inclusion as it relates to purpose, wellness as it relates to purpose, so on and so forth. And so it gives me some flexibility to talk about some different things, but I'm also always bringing everything back to purpose, because that's my purpose in life. So I can't deviate from that. I'm afraid to at this point.
I like knowing those 5 aspects. And the first one that I'm finding myself curious about in the moment is the leadership piece, and how does purpose connect with leadership as you speak about it?
Well, when you talk about leadership, you want to put people in position to be successful, right? So as a leader, I feel your job is to put people in position to be successful. So I think if you are living a purpose-centered life, you have already established or recognized what your genius is. And you know that life, like, you know that you are more effective simply because you exercise your genius. So when you are dealing with, the people that you're leading, I think it's important to help people figure out where you special, and then what job do we need to do? Now, how can I take where you're special and use that genius to impact what we're doing?
Yes, I love that.
And then also same thing with passion. Okay, now what do you love to do? Now, do we have anything that we're doing that connects to your passion? So again, I want to help people. So if I can help a leader understand the value of, genius and passion, and how important that is to expose or help the people that they're leading to understand their genius and passion, and how it can connect to the business's objective or whatever,
Yep.
all of a sudden you have people who are all about doing their work, not because of their paycheck, not because somebody has
Right.
threatened them or because they are in fear of losing their job. They're doing the work because they are connected to the work beyond anything else. It's bigger. It's big. Like the
Yes.
work is bigger. The work and the opportunity is bigger than just the paycheck. And I feel
Right.
people function better under those circumstances.
So much more motivation and desire to serve and support when that bigger context of purpose and passion is actually in the room, as opposed to, I'm just another cog in the wheel.
And look, and if that is your situation, think about it. Like this, what you just said, that, I'm just another cog in the wheel. Some people go to work like that every single day.
Yes.
And if they go to work like that every single day, it inevitably, they're going to experience less wellness.
Yes.
They're not going to be as good as the person who's like, I don't have to go to work today. I get to go to work today.
Yes.
It's some of this stuff is equation. Some of this stuff is 1 + 1 is 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I want to take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsor, but then I have a bunch of questions for you. So our sponsor today is Let's Get Checked, and it's a company that saves you time, money, and awkward conversations by providing at-home blood tests. So if you're anything like me, you don't want to waste money and precious time driving and parking and inevitable doctor delays and then getting permission to spend more money and time going to a lab. It's totally maddening. So by testing at home, you'll also get to avoid having that awkward sexually transmitted infection conversation with your doctor. You can even test your hormones to get a clear picture of your testosterone level and test for other health concerns. It's easy. And I actually just did one this week. So go to letsgetchecked.com. You can order the kit you want. Enter the code MANALIVE for your 20% discount, and you'll receive your test in the mail. Once you return it, your results are available online in 2 to 5 days. So head over to letsgetchecked.com today, and you can use the coupon code MANALIVE for your 20% discount. Okay, so back to some people actually go to work every day and have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very different place from where you're living, right? Where your attention is on being of service and helping out while you're also living your passion, right? I mean, some of it I feel like is a mindset or a perspective shift. And I'm curious how you came to this perspective shift, because you have such a strong belief in this. Where did that come from?
So I think, everything for me starts in the spirit. So if you were going to ask me, I want to ask your question. I want to answer your question.
Yeah.
I feel the spirit. So as I said before, the spirit feels,
Yeah.
the heart loves, the mind thinks, the body performs. I don't start with the mind first, right? And I experienced. I read a ton of books, ton of self-help books, and I was doing the affirmations and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
It was all mental. And I wasn't experiencing, I wasn't experiencing any gains, right? And not necessarily gains financially, because I would still get opportunities, money-making opportunities, gigs, so on and so forth. But it seemed like something is not right. So what changed for me was the spirit part. I realized that I got to feel a certain way before I can develop this love affair with what I'm doing, and then inevitably develop the mindset that will, continue the transformation.
But the mindset has to come after you're actually in it with your heart and soul, it sounds like.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite lines. Nobody wins a marathon. Nobody finishes a marathon feeling like a loser. Right? So your mind will play tricks on you. We know this to be true, right? Your mind will play tricks on you all day, every day, right? The heart can be somewhat finicky too, right? The heart can be finicky too, and the heart can kind of get you in trouble. But one thing that's for sure, your spirit It's everything. If you finish a marathon, you didn't finish that marathon because you had happy thoughts going through your head, or because your body felt fantastic as you.
Your body felt great.
No, you finished that marathon because spiritually you felt like finishing it.
Uh-huh.
So you gotta. So for me, everything changed for me in terms of the spiritual, the purpose in life and changing it. Everything changed once I started to feel a certain way with intention. So it was like, Marv, how are you going to feel about yourself? Yeah. How are you going to feel about your work? And how are you going to feel about the people that you have to engage with? Like, how are you going to spiritually connect to yourself, your work, and the people that you have to deal with? Because if I allow my circumstances to dictate how I feel, there's a good chance I'm going to show up in a way that might not be productive.
If you allow your circumstances to dictate how you feel. Okay. So you then found a way to connect with that deeper feeling beyond circumstance.
So everything is spirituality for me first. Everything is spirituality. It's spirituality, it's love affair, then it's mindset. And then the body will follow. The body will follow. The body is not going to compete with the spirit, the heart, and the mind.
Yep.
So for me, once I was able to connect spiritually with, again, myself.
Yeah.
How do I feel about myself? Okay, I don't feel so great, but I have to intentionally feel a certain way to get this job done. And then there are other days when I feel fantastic. Other days I feel invincible, right? Yep. And I just ride the wave.
Yep.
Same thing with my work. There's some days where I don't feel like doing the work, but I have to say, Mark, you have to feel like doing the work now.
Yeah.
And same thing about people. I don't feel like dealing with certain people. I don't feel like dealing with my family sometimes, but I have to feel a certain way on purpose, with intention, being deliberate. Because if I don't, something bad might happen. I might lose somebody, not from like in terms of death, but I might lose somebody in my life that I care about.
Yeah. And so spirituality is different for everyone. And, it can look so many different ways.
Sure.
Can you say what's at the heart of your spirituality? Or like, is there a certain practice? Is there a certain religion? What is it for you?
I believe in God. I was raised in the Baptist church. So I'm Christian, raised in a Baptist church. And I always heard the Holy Ghost is moving through the church. The Holy Spirit is moving through the church. I heard this a gazillion times. I never knew what it was. It's a feeling. Yeah. It's a feeling. Everybody in this church, everybody in this sanctuary is feeling God move through them. There's a feeling of being washed, being clean, being redeemed. There's some feeling that we are collectively feeling. Maybe the preacher was talking about redemption and praying and that you've been saved or whatever. Everybody felt that.
Yeah.
So that was already present in my life, but I couldn't define it. Wasn't aware. I was aware of it, but I couldn't define it. I wasn't
in the background.
It was in the background. It was in my subconscious.
Yep.
As I got older and I started trying to figure out, like, man, how can I show up the way that I want to show up in life? So I attack it with mindset, because I'm a big mindset person. There's a book, I can't remember her name, The Fixed Mindset versus the Growth Mindset. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But I did that. And I was like, my mindset is good, but I'm not showing up the way that I want to.
Yeah.
Right.
I just love that you were motivated. Like, you have such a strong motivation to show up the way you want to, or again, some people aren't necessarily thinking about that or haven't really been given that spark of inspiration, and it's clearly come to you.
I just want, like Will Smith said this, he says, I want my life to mean something. And I want to be around people, and I want to create a divot or a gap everywhere that I am. So I want people to be around me, whether it's for a minute, whether it's 2 minutes, whether it's for a day, a week, a month, whatever the case may be. I want them to feel better. Yes. Because I'm in their presence, right?
So beautiful.
So with that being said, again, I want somebody to feel something.
Yes.
I don't want them to think better when I'm around them. I want them to feel better.
Yes.
So it goes back to that spiritual piece. So once I started figuring out, how do I want to show up and what legacy do I want to leave, right? Not in terms of my life, but just after this conversation we have, this is a legacy that I'm leaving.
Oh, I love that. Not just a life legacy, but moment to moment or interaction to interaction.
And once I figured that, once I came across that, the level of awareness, then it was, okay, I got to figure out what's the key. And the key for me was spirituality. And so once I connected how I wanted to show up with what I experienced as a young boy in church, and then I started to make sense of what is spirituality. And again, like you said, spirituality takes on many forms, has many definitions to many people. I like to keep things simple because life is already complicated enough. So for me, spirituality is simply feeling. And how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your work and the people that you have to deal with? How are you spiritually connected to those people? There's times when the circumstances will make us feel like, I don't want to deal with me, so I'm going to drink. I don't want to deal with my job, so I'm going to go there and be totally checked out. And I don't want to deal with the people that I have to, my family or whatever, so I'm going to find a way to be just totally checked out. Or I can deliberately change the way I feel about who I'm dealing with, and all those other examples I gave you. And make sure that I'm being intentional, and hopefully they will feel my intention. Hopefully they feel that I'm working my butt off to be what I need to be at this moment for whoever I'm dealing with. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where that whole spirituality type of component came from. It was just a little bit of my youth mixed with knowing that I want to be better. And,
well, I think we each are born kind of like you're saying with a genius or a spark. And this really feels like yours, as I use that language of there's a feeling in me that I have as you speak, not just an intellect, but a feeling of like, wow, there's a brightness, a lightness. And so I feel grateful that you're doing this work in the world. And I'm curious if we were to end this conversation, which we will do soon, and you hadn't spoken about a piece of this, is there something that you want to leave people with that feels really important?
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Everything is working in your favor. Everything is working in your favor. For people who believe in God and believe in the Bible says, Romans 8:28 says, for God works for the good of, for all things work for the good of those who love God, have been called according to his purpose. All things work for the good of those who love God. They have been called according to his purpose. And if you don't believe in God, I think the universe is working the same way, right? If the universe is providing you with experiences, and some of those experiences aren't always the best, but if you would just simply live within your purpose, all those experiences, all those bad times, all those hard times, some of that suffering, some of that trauma will be converted into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And I know for some people, and some people are saying, well, Marv, I've been through it on levels you can't even imagine. I've had family members who have died from gun violence, abuse of some sort. I mean, I know people, I myself, Marv, have been beat down verbally, spiritually, mentally, physically, so on and so forth. So you telling me that all this is for my favor? And it's tough, but in some shape, form, or fashion, the answer is yes. And we are all given lives that we can handle, right? The experiences are what we can handle. So if we can simply, again, make friends as best as possible, make friends with some of the emotions that keep us in bondage, some of the thoughts that keep us in bondage. If we can make friends with them and understand where's this stuff coming from, I think it's a segue to us understanding that if you had a crazy childhood, right? Mom and dad were a little offbeat, and you had to endure this, right? Whatever this is, that might open you up to your purpose, and you might be a person who can not only restore the family in some shape, form, or fashion. Maybe you become an advocate of some sort for family, or maybe you can be a specialist or some sort of support or resource that will help children or help the parents in that situation, based upon what you went through.
Yes.
You might be able to convert that trauma into an amazing gift to someone else.
So many people, right? For someone else or for many.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that sometimes has to be our process, but I think that's how, like, that resistance is how we develop muscle. And so sometimes that muscle and that resistance, it would be nice if it could always just be a weight that we could just lift. But sometimes it's a little bit, it's dangerous. It's scary. It's filled with angst and stress. But if we can just process it and then convert it properly, we can do some incredible things. So my whole thing is the universe is conspiring to assist and serve you, not limit you. And I know that's tough to understand, but if you could just kind of lean into
even
it,
if you can just be open to that, as a curiosity, like how could the universe be open, and conspiring to serve me in this moment, even in this time of pain and suffering. I think that's a huge shift for people to make.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's real though.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this conversation. And where can people find you if they want more of you?
So what I do is I've been doing this for some time now, just getting in, just making it easy for people to call in. But if you go to my website, they can get a free purpose recognition session. So as of right now, I think there's still an hour long. So I'll wrap with you for an hour. And sometimes we all have the answers. We all have all the answers within us. We do, but we're so distracted. And sometimes it's hard for us to find those answers. And sometimes it takes a spiritual advisor.
Yes.
It takes someone,
a mentor, whoever,
to just bring it out of us. So I'm not telling people things they don't know. I'm more so bringing out of people what's already inside them.
Yes.
So with that, these conversations are designed for me to help you discover your purpose. And if you are living within your purpose, my goal is to help you fulfill your purpose. So just simply go to marfoxjr.com and sign up for a free session, and let's talk it out. And on social media, I do a lot of work on Instagram. That's probably my main platform. And my handle is marfoxjr. marfoxjr_purpose_recognition. And there I post a ton of stuff.
Awesome.
Every day that
good. We'll have to put this one up on Instagram.
Yeah, and it's in one more thing. I'm big on being practical, because I listened to some. I just saw something just now before I tuned into you. It was Steve Harvey saying that all rich people wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Interesting.
Now look, that's coming from somebody who's rich, right? But here's the thing: there's some mother who has 3 children.
Yes.
Who cannot afford to wake up at 5 in the morning. He was basically saying, rich people don't get 8 hours of sleep. They get 5 hours of sleep. Now that sounds really cute, especially coming from somebody like Steve Harvey, who is, doing well.
Yes.
But when you are a single parent, or maybe you might have support. I know that I got to help my kids come home at 3 and 4 o'clock. I got to help them with their homework. I'm at home now. I have a 3-year-old who's taking a nap. If I don't have any energy,
yes,
I can't be there for my children.
Be there for others. Yeah.
So if I'm passing out at 3 in the afternoon because I got up because I went to bed at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
Got up at 5 in the morning. Yeah.
And they got up at 5 in the morning. It looked cute. I got up. I did all this work. I did all this work before everybody else. But now I'm not getting the sleep that I need to now do the work that I need for my family.
Yes.
So my thing is, sometimes these success experts give you a manifesto that's so daunting and so overwhelming that it intimidates you from even pursuing any of your dreams. So my thing is to
feel into your individual needs and lifestyle and what needs to happen. And, I'm amazed that you have a child sleeping and you're helping your kids with your homework. It's really beautiful to hear.
I better. I can't. But at the end of the day, I just want to give people practical advice. Yes. Practical advice. You don't have to do a whole bunch of other stuff. Beautiful. Just unlock some of the things that you have in you, and you could dramatically change your life and not only impact your life, but impact the lives of other people.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Man Alive. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and it gave you something to consider and explore in your life. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review that helps men like you find us. And again, head over to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz or text the word ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 to get a sense of how you can become a better lover and leader. You'll start to see how you can be both more respected and desired in your unique and genuine way. If you don't feel as confident or as excited about life or love as you'd like to be, this quiz is a really great starting point and will guide you toward a more passionate love life and a more inspiring and successful career. So again, text ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 or head over to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz. Join us each week for a new episode of Man Alive.